From Big Round Wheel Amusements. Today we're going to set up the spider. Probably gonna have to move the thing this way some.
Split the difference?
Yeah, I think so, but I need to have a line that I can get straight with. So I'm gonna back up that way a little bit. To get the spider set up, the first thing we do is lower the front. So when it comes in on the tractor, it pulls at a different angle. We got to get that thing crouched down to the ground because this ride will kneel itself all the way down to the ground, kind of like a Sizzler does. So it has that scissor lift in the front, and it lowers it down. At that point, we're going to take these 4 legs here with this little crane, and we're going to connect them. So this spider or Black Widow, it's very much the same as a ground mount. The only thing is it sits on top of a trailer. So the base sits here. It's not even welded to the trailer. It simply sits on 2 dowel pins that go up. So during transport, we got a couple of turnbuckles that squeeze it down to the trailer and prevent it from moving. And those turnbuckles are going to come off. We're going to put the 4 legs, which is very similar to the ground mount version of this ride. And we will actually lower the trailer from under the base. And that makes it really just a freestanding spider with a trailer under it. So it's kind of it's smart because you're not depending on the trailer to support the ride. The ride is supported independently from its own jacks, its own blocking. You don't get any wobble on the trailer when you're running the ride, and it's actually a good design. I like it. You can use whatever size makes you feel best. We're going to use power to set this ride up. A lot of the hydraulics, in fact, all of the hydraulics that change the ride, lower the platform, and lower the trailer are all battery. So you don't have to have power to set the ride up, but we're going to use power to move our crane around. All that runs on the ride's 3-phase. Also, the batteries that set this ride up, there's only 2 golf cart batteries in here for our hydraulic system that runs the pump. So the batteries get worn down. There's a pretty heavy-duty battery charger on the back, and we're going to have that going, keeping the batteries topped off. That way we don't run into any issues with sluggish batteries or anything like that. So we're going to run these 5 strands over to the generator and hook power to it, and it's going to come alive. We do only have 2 bigs on this one, so this is a feed through. So why don't you go get our diamond plate box out of there? We may use that instead of this one.
You're missing your black. down.
Keep going.
Hold it. Gotta push it in.
So a strange thing here, and I don't know where they're coming from with this, and I think we wrestle with this every time we set this ride up, and I don't know what someone was thinking, but you can't get this pin in here or there without raising the ride. To me, that was a defect. I don't know why that's like that. So we're probably going to have to lower the trailer down before we can put this brace on. But when you lower the trailer down, you're putting weight on these red legs, and you may not be able to get this pin in at that point. So I don't understand the purpose why this was designed this way, why someone didn't put an access panel in or some way to get this pin in, but there's no way to get the pin in. So we will struggle with it after we lower the trailer. Wrestling around on these things, moving racking, moving components, it's always a challenge. It's so easy to just slam things and drag things and pull things around on the surfaces of these rides, but it's always a struggle to make sure that you don't rip the paint off the rides. We don't have a paint shop. We don't have the means of painting one of these rides. We absolutely don't have the means of painting it. So not only do we have to keep our presentation top notch, but we have to have longevity on our paint. So we can't, you know, we don't have the luxury. There's many big carnivals that they have everything they need to paint their rides. They have a crew and all that. We don't have that. So, and we don't know of anybody that we could contact to get a ride painted. It's very hard to find people to paint this equipment. So I think everyone here does a great job preserving the paint. If you're going to drag something, lift it up and don't drag it across on the paint. We put things down. Sometimes we put carpets down if we need to move something like that. But we are extremely careful not to damage the paint on these rides. One of the unique things about the trailer mounted Spider is that all of these seats actually rack. They've all got pivots. So you pull this pin and you pull these seats out and they all get out of your way. There's a crane on the front and the crane's going to be able to reach back and lift up all of these arms and assemble them. So it's some pretty good engineering that somebody went through all that to make this thing fold and to make it to where I can pick these seats up with the crane. All of that is huge. There are gussets that are in here when you're going down the road. Because of the complexity of the whole racking situation, you have to actually unbuckle these gussets and loosen them in order to move these seats. So this is the early stages. We just pulled the floor down and now we're going to be unbuckling all of the turnbuckles and getting it ready to swing all of these pivots out to get out of the way for the crane to come in and assemble the ride. These are the controls for the crane. They've got it set up here and it actually drops down into this tube for transport. I need to get this thing up and spun around so I can stand on this platform and control this crane. It puts you at the exact point where you would want to be able to see everything. So the perspective from the platform is perfect when you're controlling this crane.
over the post. Yeah, go. Gotta go up, Mark?
Yeah, and down.
Down and out.
All right.
Hold it.
Make sure your bearings look right.
So flush.
Yes.
Here's that color on it. Valves blowing.
Oh, bro, that's a good thing right there. Down. Go to your right there.
So this part, you know, the crane work can be tedious. You've got a small 12-volt hydraulic pump that controls this crane, and it is extended all the way, so it is straining the whole time. So everything that this crane does, the boom is bowing, you get a lot of flex, and there's a lot of consequence. So, you know, we've got workers holding on to pieces, so we have to be extra careful. And a suspended load, so we're always careful with that. And the ride has to move while you're setting it up, so we're constantly having to maneuver the turntables, the top and the bottom. There's a lot going on, and everybody's got to be on their toes, so it's a stressful time to get this thing set up. There's quite a bit going on. Just remember, anything can happen.
Where I'm staying is right out of there.
So this ride can be tricky at times. It's a newer ride to us, so there's a lot of things that we're not seasoned. So it takes a little bit of time to pick these things and get optimized. We like to be optimized. We like to find shortcuts, ways that work better, and that's what we like to do. So we haven't quite gotten dialed in. We'll make it go, and when we get it set up, it's smooth. But we'll get dialed in.
Down.
All right, to your right. Good.
enough for both of them.
Barely a film.
Maybe drop. How close are these to hitting?
I'm good on the cars here.
All right.
Wait. Okay. Down. Down.
So we've got the ride set up. All of the hard part is done. All that steel, the seats, everything. And now it's about cleanup. So we've got to get all that racking away. So now we've got the ride rotated into the loading position. This is a really good design that I like. So the seats, when they come around, they're designed to have a stop in the center. So when I load this seat, there is a little joint. It's a little V pocket, and the seat actually rotates into that position and locks itself against moving. So when you get on here and you're standing on this to get on the ride, you're actually holding the seat in the center position for loading. Otherwise, the seat would spin around. So it's an amazing idea. I love it. The seat won't move again until this is lifted up, and then it spins around. So with that, there are some concerns. So in the loading position, both seats are at a higher position. But now there's two different rotations on this ride. One is the main carousel, and that's going to be the lower rotator that's hooked to the yellow sweeps. Then there's an eccentric rotation up at the top that actually controls the motion and the height of all the cars. So as that eccentric moves around, it's going to lower these seats down. And we want to check the clearance, because if it's coming too close to the platform, that's going to be a hazard. We need to get rid of that now. So we're going to adjust everything. But right now we're going to do our tests. So we're going to get this eccentric rotating, and we're going to see as the top comes around, you're going to see that this seat is actually going to drop down here. A little more, a little more, a little more. So what I'm seeing, I like. I wanted to have ample space here, because this just worries me when this ride is moving at the speed it moves. I don't like this this area. We've got a lot of room, and I'm proud of it. So we have 8 inches of space here. So that is more. The manufacturer recommends no less than 3. So that would be here. But I like this as a safety envelope. There's a few things that I like about this setup. One, I'm on pavement, so I don't have to worry about the grass or blocks settling in the dirt or anything, and I feel good about it. So that's the concern that gets to me here. Also, we got plenty of room around this ride. We had plenty of time to make all the adjustments that we needed to do. So I feel really good, and I'm going to feel good throughout this carnival, knowing that this ride is set and that we have all of this wonderful clearance here. This is great. So good setup. All right. A lot of people ask about the controls and how the ride runs. So we just finished a ride cycle here. You've got rotation, which is the bottom. That's the spin of the whole ride. And then you've got the eccentric. So the eccentric controls the crank up at the top that makes the seats go up and down. When you're in a cycle and you push start and hold the pedal, the ride starts spinning, eccentric and the base. And it runs its cycle out and then it stops. So when you stop it, the objective is to move your eccentric up here, that pointed part, to directly forward of the trailer. So you're going to level that out. And there's a small button under there that you push that it's like your dead man switch. And that eccentric just kind of moves. When it moves, it levels these cars out at the bottom so they're both the same height. And then you'll adjust it with the carousel. You bring the carousel around right about there, and then your cars are the same height for unloading and loading. These cars fold down, and then your step will be at the right height. So that's very important. And then we can go unload the cars and start it over again. And then when the cars are loaded, everybody's on, you push the start cycle, and it runs the whole thing. And once the eccentric is centered that maintains that all the cars that roll down are going to be at this height, and all the cars that roll to the back are going to be up at that height, because the eccentric, which is the top, is in that position. So it's very simple. Once you have this leveled and you have the cars at an angle that you like to board, you can just simply roll the bottom turntable around, and the next 2 cars or 4 cars will be in this position for loading. So you just jog that around, load the whole ride, and then it's ready to start your cycle. So I can tolerate this ride personally for about 45 seconds to a minute, and then I like to have a short ride. A very random ride. You never know what's going to happen. Whoa, and then it does this.